EnglishTim here. This is my ultimate fighting guide, taking you right through from the days before fighting, the moments you're about to pull the trigger, the how to actually choose your targets, and how to maximize your chances of winning. This is part 2, which is the couple of days, hours before you're fighting, what you can do to get hold of items that you need, clearing out hospital space and things of that type to get yourself prepped and ready to go. So, first up, the hours, the days just before you fight. So what do you want to do once you're ready to go fighting? So first up, if you're in Solar, one of the season maps, then you may have to go home first. So for things like Firelands, I keep making this mistake. I'm about to kick off a Firelands battle. I want to get in there really early so I can get the mines before everyone starts crowding them. And I'm still in Solar. The moment I try and teleport into Firelands, I'm now, I have to go home, and yeah, that's a bit of a no-no. So make sure that you've got back to the right territory before you head off. And you're going to be online. A lot of events will start at reset, not all of them. KVK starts in the middle of the day, but the majority of these events you'll find will start at reset, and in the UK anyway, I am asleep at reset. So worst thing you want to do is wake up to find out the event's already started and you've lost all your troops, lost all your res, and you've taken massive losses. So yep, think the day ahead. You need to make sure what are you going to be doing at reset. And if you're not 100% sure, even if you're going to be awake and you're not totally sure you're going to be online, it's still worth protecting yourself. So how do you protect yourself? Obvious one is a shield. So if you're going to be asleep for less than 8 hours or offline for less than 8 hours, 8-hour shield should do you well. Or you need a one-day shield if you're going to be offline for longer. If you don't have a shield, or you want to save your resources, or if you want to avoid the shield cooldown, which I will come on to later, then the alternative is just empty all your resources, hide all your troops, leave your city basically empty and with nothing of value. So that's easier done for newer kingdoms than for older kingdoms, where you may have huge numbers of troops that you just can't get rid of all of them. But when you're starting out, this is much cheaper than shielding, and it's a really good approach actually. I've got a whole video on how to do this, so please do check that out. Finally, if you can't do either of those things, random teleport. You might be able to find yourself in the middle of nowhere. You could do an advanced teleport, but it's quite a high cost for an advanced teleport to basically try and get to the middle of nowhere. There's no guarantee you go into the middle of nowhere, you might still get hit. It just massively reduces your chances. You'll see when we come to the scouting chapter that actually going after enemy cities is much easier when they're in a hive than when they're all scattered around. It costs a lot to move around and go after individual cities, and just reverse that same thinking, that somebody who's attacking won't really want to go after a single city in the middle of nowhere. So there's a good chance if you random teleport, no one's going to hit you. Third best, the other two are certainly better strategies. So, with the day before, most commonly you'll have, for example, the Kingdom Raid event. There'll be a troop upgrade event. If there isn't a troop upgrade event, you might still want to train some extra troops, upgrade some more troops. More is better. You want to have some reserves, and if somebody hits your city, the more troops you have, the more likely you are to win. So especially if there's a troop train event, make the most of it, spend some resources and get some more troops. Now, I've said upgrade troops. I'll take you to the game now, actually, just to show you. So there is one thing that newer players may not have spotted. But if we go to our city, and if you go to your training facilities, any one of them, and if you go to train, then if you think you've got a bunch of low-level troops that are never useful, you do have an upgrade option here. So you can click on upgrade, and it will convert the lower-level troops to the next level up. So you've got to do it one stage at a time. You can't go from level 1 to level 10. You have to go level 1 to level 2, level 2 to level 3. But it does save you having a load of troops who you may not have much value for. It's a slow process, but it is a reasonably cost-effective one. So there is one way to upgrade your troops. Do you want to upgrade your gear? Now there's some upgrades. If you're on Solar, then upgrading gear is something you can do quite regularly with limited consequences. It actually helps you to get through your path of legend events to keep upgrading your gear regularly. On Lunar it's very different. If you upgrade outside of the shop event, you'll find that you're wasting a lot of points. So there are some upgrades you can do without wasting points, so going from a lower tier to a higher tier, especially where you're reusing a lower level item. So going from Imperium armor to Hellsbane armor, it will never increase your high score, so you can always do that and not affect your shop event. However, never upgrade from your Hellsbane that you've just created to a new level. That will cost you a lot of points and you'll lose prizes in that event. So think about whether you want to upgrade. It will help you now, but it could cost you later. Activate your VIP. So this is something where I actually believe if you've got a decent VIP level, you should just have the permanent VIP. So you can check the VIP at the top here, and you may also already have enough VIPs that you can start activating these and keep them running. You can also get hold of the VIPs. So if you go to items and store, you can see you can get a 1 day, 7 day and 30 day. The value of a 30 day for my mind makes a lot of sense. 4,000 for virtually a month's worth of VIP is definitely is well spent gold, I believe. Especially if your VIP level is high, the higher you are, the better the benefits you get. I find some of them are very helpful. The quick switch for armor is very helpful once you've got farming gear, and certainly once you get to VIP 12 I think it's critical. There's so many great things here. The quick talent switch is actually something of great value. It's not just speeding up the way that you change your gear. This actually would cost you points every time you do it, and you can just flick back and forth very, very easily. And for fighting, you've got the hospital capacity boosts and troop attack, troop health boosts, so these are all helpful. Extra march slots for the bigger players if you want to send lots of marches, or for once you're draining people of resources, you need to do lots of marches as quickly as possible. Troop march speed, that's always a good one. It's quite frustrating watching a slow march heading off. So those are all really helpful for fighting. Extra troop formations, that's also really helpful if you're doing multiple events. It means you can save your formations and not have to keep rebuilding them. Quick equip. Now, soul conversion and sanctum capacity, these ones are also helpful. Depends on the event whether sanctum will actually apply, so not a critical one, but these are all for the value that you're spending on the gold. I still think this is all very, very helpful. The 30% hospital capacity boost on its own, that's could save you a huge amount of troops, and it would cost you a lot more than 4,000 gold for that kind of benefit for any of the events where troops get hospitalized, especially when you get them back for free. Now, also, depending on the event, you might well be able to check out the enemy before the event starts. So for Kingdom Raid, for example, you can see your competitors you'll be up against, so you can go check them out on the map. So if you go to your Kingdom Raid menus, and so if you go to the event center and then click on the go button to go to each of the different kingdoms and check them out. Big hives are not going to move around the day before. Individual players might, so and also shields will go up later. So doing too huge amount of scouting this time, I would say just target big hives and just bookmark those. What you want to do is just before you go, once the event's actually started, you can do a bit more of a sort of a scan around, certainly for Kingdom Raid, and that's when you can find out where players have forgotten to shield or their shields have burst. Otherwise you'll find all the big active hives, virtually everyone will be shielded, certainly for the start. The day before, if you're doing an event where you can work together as a team, you may want to work out all the hours before who's going to go and when. So for example, on the Firelands event, you might want to work out who wants to go and play at a certain time. You can choose when to play. So work out who's going to go and where, and the kind of people you're happy playing with and fighting alongside. You might want to also work on your strategies. If you've got a team going out somewhere, you can spend some time before the event starts and say, actually, what are you looking for? So for Kingdom Raid, you need to know what's everyone's target. Are they going out to try and kill everyone, or are they trying to go out to get loads of resources to be able to upgrade their stronghold? Effectively, if you're going out killing loads of troops, you might actually miss getting resources, and also if you're just going for resources, it's worth staying away from the really big hives, because odds on somebody big's going to spot you and you may well get sent home, unless you are the big, of course. So if you're a mid-size or a small-size player, then you want to be a bit more careful. If you're going just for resources, check out the farm alliances around the edges. What's your strategy? How are you going in? You're going in hot? You're going to work together? You're going to rally? There's lots of things to talk about if you're working as a team. And as just one aside, for KVK mega rallies, learn what troops are being sent. If the person sending a mega rally has a critical march, or any rally in fact, there's a critical march, you need to match their troops. If you send one type of troop that doesn't match the march, you can destroy the critical march, and they could lose a vast amount of power in the attack and you'll be very unpopular. So before the attack begins, what is the critical attack march and what troops can you send? And I would suggest setting it up as a march. Easily done. So we'll go back to the game. You go to your building here, the training grounds, and in March you're able to store some marches before an event. So this is a great time to set up your best attack march, your best critical march to join somebody's critical rally. I also have a march which is to send away all of my troops who don't make a critical march. I do need to update it, but you see down here I send all of my lower level troops off on a fake march to help me maintain my critical defense if somebody attacks me. Now you may also need to distribute your alliance items, so this is critical for things like Kingdom Raid, where you have scrolls and teleports and the like, which and coins to help to get troops back again. So these are all items that you may need to distribute before the fight starts. Certainly for teleports, you'll be very unpopular if you're an R5 or an R4 and nobody's actually been given any of the teleports to go and fight. So make sure you get those out in time. And then there's a list of items that you really need to make sure you've got. Reason I say to check this the days before is because there's a bunch of deals available, and if you check it early you can get much better prices. If you're buying them all with gold at the moment you need them, you'll find yourself spending a lot more on it. So shields, you'll often find shields have deals in the Alliance store. So if you go to the store here, you can see the short, you can get the 1 8-hour shields here, and they're often 90% off, so keep your eyes out for that. March recalls, they're available as well, and you can get them in different locations. So you can see the March recall here. Check again, you might see, I don't recall if these come on deal, but if they are, then get them on deal. If you're going to be doing a lot of rallies, you may also want to have 1 rally recall ready to go, so again, check for those deals. March capacity boosts, these are really important for increasing the number of troops. You massively increase your chances of winning if you've got more troops than your opponent. You can't overturn a massive discrepancy if they are way more powerful, even if you've got more troops, but it definitely helps. And only in Lunar, not on Solar, there is the market, there is the auction house, which is in the exchange building. And in here, if we go to recent sales, you get one awesome item, which is the 50% March capacity boost. So the standard one is 25%. This 50% boost is a huge increase in the number of troops you can send. It comes up for auction quite frequently, and it's quite expensive depending on whether you're a big spender or not. So 100,000, that's actually a pretty good price. It normally goes for more like 150,000. So that's another place to keep your eyes peeled. You can only buy it when that auction is running, so the few days before, keep your eyes peeled and see if you can find it. You can also get it from the Festival Shop event as well, and that's another great way to boost your troops, but the price is always quite substantial. March speedups. Now the March speedups do vary. You get different versions of the March speedup. The standard ones you can get from the Spire loot, and then different events have their own custom ones. So Kingdom Raid, for example, and the Firelands both have their own specific March speedups. So this is on Lunar. You'll see that in the Spire loot there's a lot of these available, and they good value as well. So for 14,000 crystals to get a 2-hour 25% March capacity boost, that's really valuable. You've also got down further below Lord Talent Point resets. So if you don't have quick talent switches yet, then this will enable you to switch to war mode. This is quite a bit more expensive, but still a worthwhile thing if you're going to be doing a lot of fighting. Now you've also got the Undead Trader, and in here you'll find that you've got hospital healing speedups, and they're great to have as well for different events. Certainly very good for Netherfall. And you've got these accolades, which do help boost your fighting stats, so it's worth making sure you buy them once a week. Here are the March speedups. You can get 2 20% ones each day. That will save you a lot of gold. Now if we go to Solar, you'll see there are fewer shops available. They have merged a few of the items, so you'll see here's the 2-hour March capacity boost. That is definitely worth getting. So I will get one of those now. Rally recall, that's a lot more expensive, so it's one of those ones where if you do a lot of rallies, it's worth having. If you don't do a lot of rallies, then it's not worth having a lot. I keep one just as a spare in case I do happen to need one and March recalls. You've got those here as well, so definitely worth having some of those around. Lord Talent Points reset is a lot more expensive in Solar than it is in Lunar. You'll see how that was 768,000 crystals in Solar. And if we compare that to Lunar, it's 111,000. So they're making switching your talents much more expensive in that version of the game, in the newer version of the game. There's also March speed ups here. You do have to get to floor 15 before they're available, so I am not there yet on this account. And now you also want to make sure that you've got teleports. Most events you need to teleport to get around. Does vary. Netherfall, Nether War, they do give you free teleports every 20 minutes, I think. Now you've got advanced teleports, and that's what you need to go out to attack. And then what you can do to reduce your costs, a fortress teleport is a lot cheaper than an advanced teleport, and that will get you back into your alliance territory. So fortress teleports are still worth buying. You think maybe I'm not bothered about fortress teleports, I just want to go out attacking. You have to come home eventually, so this is a cheaper way of doing it. So to get hold of those, the alliance store is probably the best way to go. And that is on both versions of the game. So if you go to Alliance and Store, now you'll want to keep checking this out all the time. In fact, there are 90% deals on Fortress Teleports, 90% deal on shields here, you can see today. And you also get deals on these recalls, so this is a great place to get hold of teleports. And there's a random teleport as well on random deals, so if you don't have enough of those, it's worth picking up when they're on deal rather than buying them at much higher prices. And on the same on Solar, you'll also find that you can get these items on deal in Solar too. So here's the random teleport and the other teleports here. Fortress teleport, again, they come on deal from time to time, so keep checking. This is why it's great checking a few days beforehand. You're much more likely to get one of those deals. So we've covered the Lord Talent Point reset, so if you can get the quick switch, that's definitely worthwhile, but until then it's worth looking at the Spire loot. And you've got random teleports, which you can see in the Alliance store as well. So those are most useful when you're out attacking and you need to find yourself a safe space. You're not currently under attack, but you're fearing that the attack might come. Random teleport, generally a pretty good way to get safe without having to shield. Now you also want to empty your hospitals where possible. Now a lot of these events, it will vary. There are a lot of different versions, but if you have an empty hospital, an Alliance hospital and your standard hospital and your border hospital, if you're doing a kingdom raid, if you empty them out, it makes space for new troops to go in. If there's not enough space in the hospitals, troops start dying. So emptying out that hospital space is a really great way of saving more lives. So the reason I say doing it the hours, days before, it can take days, weeks, depending on how many troops you've got in your hospital to heal up. So it saves you having to use those healing speed ups if you start the process a few days early. Now again, depending on the event, Sanctum might apply, so you might want to start clearing out space in Sanctum, and that is again dependent on which event you're taking part in. So I am EnglishTim. If you're enjoying my content, please do click on that subscribe button and on the notification bell to receive updates about my upcoming videos. And if you've got any questions that you want to ask in a bit more detail, then Discord's probably the way to go. You can send screenshots and the like. So my Discord is at EnglishTim #2230. And if you want to support me and try and get me to make more videos, then please do click on the donate button in the link below this video. That would be awesome. Otherwise, join me in the next part where we cover the moments before you fight. So this is where things start to heat up. You need to start activating all your buffs, getting on your gear, turning your talent points. There's a lot to do in those last few moments, ready to send out that first march. So yeah, join me in part 3 shortly.
King of Avalon, play now.